I think it's important for us to discuss the aspect of culture within Western Christendom, namely in the American church as you see it. As you read the comments from Husband's work, and even going back to Vili Matti Karkanian in his thoughts on ecumenical culture, but the whole comment that Verhey makes in chapter 8 and also chapter 9 in reference to John Yoder, John Howard Yoder, in regards to culture and how does culture fit within the larger evangelical framework as you see it. The goal for this class is to really get you to think about the place doctrine fits into your understanding, your framework. Has it changed over time? Is your doctrine largely pushed by your local church in the sense that because you attend a particular denomination or church itself, the way in which you practice a certain doctrine is advocated by that certain group? And I've talked to several of you over the past several weeks in regards to maybe your church practices infant baptism, or your church subscribes to believers' baptism. And so some of you who have grown up in the Baptist or Bible church or non-denominational that practices immersion have never really thought about the view of paedo baptism. And so where does that education come from? Who is encouraging you to lean one side to the other? And I think these books are helpful to get you to think about, number one, where does doctrine emerge from? And namely, it should emerge out of God's Word as your sole understanding for discerning and knowing who God is. And then secondly, it's a discipleship process. And as you look at through the both Ford books, that there has been this encouragement that doctrine is exchanged. It's given, it's passed on to one person to another. It's generational. Or as you look at it, it's been given to you by your parents and or your local church. But then also doctrine is also culturally advocated. When we look at both the Western church and then the Eastern church, their views on maybe how someone comes to saving faith may be described differently. For example, how would you describe someone coming to saving faith? What are the requirements for salvation? And so someone in the Eastern church might describe it a little bit different than those who are in the Protestant. So for the nature of your assignment and your discussion thread is for you to really think about the way culture has dominated here in the United States, and then as you look at it globally, how doctrine might have changed over time, and where is God's inerrant word, where does that fit into the thinking of the development of doctrine? So those are some initial thoughts. I'll continue to post a few more videos at the end of the week and for your preview.